G'day everybody, good evening, good night. It's Josh in Sydney here. I thought I'd make another quick video. This might go about 25 minutes tops. Gonna make it pretty quick. And hopefully I don't have to do any editing and I don't stuff up and because I've already had one go at this and I've stuffed up. So this is the Elvis's Legacy is Perfect. Doesn't need defending channel. And here we only really make about a video a week, I'm going to say. And I only make it if something stands out, something prompts me. What prompted me today is that I've had someone come from the little corporal's channel who's just making comment after comment, and I didn't want to block anyone. I haven't done it yet, and I'm all for self-regulation. People um, say something they shouldn't. Generally, they reflect and they might delete or whatever, or if they're goading you and whatever. So look, I'm gonna let it go for now. But this guy's right on the edge. And then I started getting these comments sent to me, and someone sent me an email because I have not been watching many of the channel of the videos. If I'm honest, I watch one in six. I'll have playing while I'm doing something, either at work, while I'm driving, whatever. And I've asked myself, why the hell do I listen? But the point of it is, I listen sometimes because it's generally all the same, but now and again, well, he quite often says things that just aren't true, and they make me have to go back and check. So, a little bit of interim stuff here. We can see that the last video I did was about 7 days ago, and it's had 1,300 views, which is good. It's great. It's got 466 comments. Now, a lot of them are mine. Mm, I comment on maybe 30 or 40 or 50, I don't know. I comment. I always say thank you to someone for taking the time to comment because I appreciate people putting down their thoughts. It's good. That's how we all learn, right? And sometimes people say things and it make me reflect and think, okay. And we've had a bunch of likes. So, some people are liking some of the stuff I'm putting out here. We can see that YouTube still has that copyright, and I haven't seen anything result of it yet. So I don't know whether they're just watching but I haven't had any strikes, and I haven't changed the way I operate. So I don't know. Look, I just had a quick look, and I thought, righty, I'll pick one of his last videos. And I just looked over his last day, and he's got obviously not a lot of views. He's made 4 videos in the last 24 hours, it would seem. But they're all about they're the same, really. They're all about trashing. The Stanleys, Miss Sam's defends Elvis Presley. I did listen to one of hers yesterday, I think it was. Actually, no, it was earlier this morning. I was a bit surprised, but I shouldn't be. I don't know why I was surprised, really. But I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Miss Sam's, but um, he seems to be honing in on that. He's very proud of the fact that she's come out and said that about his channel. Um, so I think she likes the drama, Miss Sam's. She comes out with the odds conspiracy. There's some crazy stuff I'm hearing, but I've got nothing against people who do tarot card reading either, like the little corporal says. But I don't know, something seems a bit off. And I don't know. I don't know about these titles. They just seem to be keyword stuffing. Um, they don't make sense to me. But anyway, Miss Sam's and Elvis very serious defending Elvis Presley live fans. I don't know. I should tell you, little corporal, that your videos work the best with your titles when people can read them in completeness, and you want to have the most popular keywords to the front. So, all right. So, just having a look at this, there's no content. Okay, so the last 24 hours, there's very little about Elvis content and all about these topics. Other than the last thing I heard a few days ago was starting a shop that he doesn't really want to start to sell things he doesn't really want to sell for some of his subscribers who there are not very many and there's not very many people watching. So but they seem to be dedicated to buy him things and send him things, and you know. But he's continuing to go down this line of treasure channels, bad mouthing the relatives, and I don't know why he's proud of. She's come out and said she's in his corner, and he's very proud of the fact she's got 65,000 subs and thinks she's very intelligent. Um, Look, Miss Sam's, you know, I've listened to one or two, um, and she can. I find it just amusing. She's entertaining. She's got a bit of charisma about her, but she's not where I'm getting my Elvis news. No. I wanted to point out these channels, right? Because who you listen to is really important, because it's like, you've heard the term who you surround yourself with. So what you listen to is important, and there are some good Elvis channels out there. I've just listed off a few tonight that just came to me, just okay, where have I been lately? And Scotty's music channel, absolutely. I've just copied their descriptions in there, and you can stop and have a read to their point of difference. I bet you all of you probably already know this, but these aren't in any order of ranking or anything like that. But I mean, there's some good channels here. Spa Guy used to be number one for me, and I think he'll always be the go-to channel, just for sake of if you want to know something about a particular event or topic, or he's been there, done that, spoken to people. He's run. It used to be a really good channel. I mean, it still is, but I think it's a very crowded niche now. EFM and MMK are always going to have a place because they were there and around Elvis. So I love listening to both those channels. There's no issue there. Presley Mania, I love listening to Rhonda. She's got a sweet, calming voice. She doesn't get involved in the banter. It's a pity that I think I sometimes think her channel gets hijacked sometimes by reading her information and playing her video. She stands on her own. She's got a bit of a niche she fills with her good friend, and they go and actually source information from reputable places, court documents or whatever. They could be buying them, and they're I just really appreciative because we get the couple of things I've been really appreciative for on that channel particularly is I got to hear for the first time ever that Elvis response to Priscilla trying to get him for more money. That was just an eye opener to me, and and then all the stuff on Bridget, and she throws her opinions in there, and I really like Rhonda there. Elvis A to Z, I've come to like Elvis A to Z. I only started sort of having a look at it the last few months, last couple of months. Him and Cam, um, and I like what they do. I tried to watch that Elvis radio, but I tried to play it actually, but I couldn't play it here in Australia. So, but I've listened to them do the Elvis Decoded book recently. That was pretty good. I've read the book. I don't have it actually, but I have read it previously, and it's a really interesting take. I like it. Joe Crine, I love his Collecting Kings Elvis. He's got about 200 interviews on there, and I go back there regularly when I want to hear things. EP Vault, he's got a collection of stuff that he's copied off the internet that it's all in one place. So if I want to go and find it before people delete it, and I think that's the purpose of his channel, right? Because some of these folks, I think, get things deleted. So I go back and sometimes I can't find them. So yeah. Um, so they're the channels that I like, that I sort of come to mind for me. And then I came across, and of course I had to conclude, lastly, and not in that same table because I don't put this channel with these, right? Not at all. But I looked at his description, and this description does not reflect this channel. Let's have a read quickly. Welcome to Defending Elvis Presley with a Forgiving Heart. This channel celebrates Elvis's life history, music, generosity, humor, and legacy with positivity and respect. Is that how you reckon? Does anybody who's listening to this think that that is representative of this channel? Oh, absolutely not. I clear up misconceptions, share documented facts, explore important moments, and offer balanced opinion. It just doesn't reflect it at all. And if it did share documented facts, well, sure as hell you wouldn't have to read disclaimers every 10 minutes. So I thought I'd rewrite this, see what you think. Welcome to Defending Elvis Presley fans want the truth. This channel focuses on passing judgment on those I consider have trashed my hero Elvis for money after Elvis died. I often state I'm a Christian, however, I'm actually a cultural Christian. And there's a difference, right? It means basically I don't follow any of the covenants of being a Christian, and I typically don't think right of people, especially those I disagree with. I don't leave judgment to the God I proclaim to believe in. I call people I don't like trashers and Humpty Dumpty or Bingo Kid. I have an unusually large amount of people who cannot stand the way I act online, and in fact, what I stand for generally. These people get together regularly on a disgusting channel that points out what they say are all the mistruths I proclaim online. I regularly call them all jealous anti-defenders. I have such a high opinion of myself that I don't call them out by name, because otherwise those who find my channel might try and find those channels and like them more, potentially subscribe. I think most highly of gossipy tarot card readers who go in disguise to public venues and proclaim their loyalty to me and my group of like-minded followers online. Come join my clique of sycophants, buy me a coffee, or become a paid member while I share my thoughts in every video of Priscilla, the Smiths, the Stanleys, and the hundreds of Elvis fans, trashers who simply don't like me. Now, tell me, come on, is this representative of this channel? Which one? Is it this one or is it this one? Oh, come on. I'm just having some fun. So if you're a member of the Elvis, of the official Memphis Mafia, if you have contributed to a book, if you're any book, you are in his firing line and you are going to be passed judgment on. How crazy is that, right? Do you know, I want to tell you that only 3 months ago I came across this, right, in his video list, and I thought this was hilarious. New beginning. This is his title. New name, new way forward. Defending Elvis with a forgiving heart. Only 3 months ago, and it's got 666 views. So that movement's going strong. What I really want to do, I want you to have a listen to what he says, and I'm going to provide some comment. All right, here we go, guys. Let's have a listen to this video.
Someone's bought me a coffee. Tony's bought me a coffee. Thank you, Tony.
I'm just going to go forward a little bit.
I'm ignoring them. Okay, so we are here because this is a new beginning. Okay, so where do we start? First of all, I want to officially apologize to any YouTube channel or YouTuber or family member or stepbrother or cousin or anyone. I officially apologize to you that we've had to go down the road of arguing. Whoever you are, could be the Smiths, the Stanleys, could be Joe Sins, could be who else? Let me just think. I mean, believe it or not, there isn't actually that many people, is it? It's like the Smith, the core of it, yeah. I apologize to every one of you, yeah. And we are gonna have a new beginning.
Okay, guys. Sorry, I pressed the wrong button again. I'm always doing that. Hey, there's about 10 channels he just rattled off, and you just missed out on them because I pressed the wrong button. Look, there are a lot of channels, and this is supposed to be his mea culpa, right? 3 months ago, 90 days. So this was at a time where Spargo threatened to sue him. Strikes were coming in left, right, and centre to him to shut his channel down. Joe Sins, he fell out with famously, and he just went mental over Joe Sins, and it all started from Joe Sins doing a video with Billy Stanley. And he's so crazy about defending Donna that he threw his friendship away with Joe Sins. And he realized, and he has a bit of a, what would you say? He has a moment later in this video where it looks like he's going to cry. You know, he says, I've got, you know, I really realized when I had that bad time with Joe that I needed to reflect, and he was right. I was wrong. I've been doing the wrong thing. But it didn't last long. But here we go. Let's let him keep going. And I'm just going to scan through here just to show what was supposed to happen with the Defending Elvis with a Forgiving Heart. Here we go.
Because, guys, there's many reasons why we have to do this. Yeah, there's many reasons. Yeah, it's not because I'm going to get sued, because that has been dealt with already. We've agreed stuff, and that has been dealt with. I don't have to do this. Yeah, I don't have to. I'm not doing this to prevent me getting sued. The getting sued situation is behind us. I'm doing this because if we don't bloody change our ways, yeah, and start to find a way forward and start to defend, like I've always said, yeah, we must defend no hate with love, with kindness. We must defend in a way that Elvis would be happy. I've always said it. You can go back. You can go.
Now, I just want to say something here. I think he's serious at this point with what he's saying. He believes it, and he's serious because he's just been through a fair bit of angst, and the channel does mean something to him. The community he's built does mean something to him. And he knows that he was not far away from losing his channel with all the strikes he was receiving. And I think legally he worried. He knows that Spark Guy has taken things to the courts before and won. However, he's not a good leader. And why I say that, he's a follower, he's not a leader. And this is why I'm saying this, is because he gets led by his followers. He's got about, I'm going to tell you now, there are about 5 subscribers in there in his group who are who are agitators, and they say things to him to spur him on. I'm not going to name them. I'd like to name them because I personally have had run-ins with them. I'm not particularly fond of them, and that's because I see them. I know what they are. One of them likes to comment on with me. In fact, a couple of them like to. So you can probably work that out. But they're in there saying things like, it's not you, it's them. They never were your friends to begin with. The Smiths never supported Elvis. They would never come out and apologize. It's those sort of things. Now, he's trying hard to remain positive here, and he's saying to them, any negative stuff I'm not going to read. And he's trying to do that. I think he is.
Go back a year, more than a year, 12, 13 months, and I've said it from day one. No hate. No hate. Whether it doesn't matter who we're talking about. It does not matter who we're talking about. It should never have come from hate. It doesn't matter if it's the Smiths or Priscilla or the Stanleys or an Elvis channel that disagrees with us. Yeah, because we've had a couple of ding-dongs with a couple of Elvis channels. We can't defend with hate, guys. We can't.
Here's one of the comments from those agitators. It says here, Louis, none of the people have the money to sue you. They never did and never will. He's actually the key agitator, I'm going to say.
In the end, it will bite us on the bum. Yeah? In the end, for a start, we wouldn't survive. We would not survive 1 minute if we carry on like this. We are literally that close from being completely shut down. Yeah? You got to think about YouTube. We are that close. So this is, from the point of view of you guys here at Defending Elvis that are part of our movement, part of YouTube, unless we find the right way to defend Elvis, the right way to move forward, there will be no Defending Elvis. There will be no YouTube channel. So,
all right, I'm just going to pause it there, and I'm going to jump ahead because this just goes on. You know how he repeats himself over and over. I'm sure you don't want to see it as much as I don't want to hear it. So there's some more agitators in here. I'm just going to, as I'm going through, I'm seeing all these comments. this same guy again, he says, this is like the friends who left Elvis. Were they really his friends? We not only want to do what Elvis would do, but most important, what Jesus would do, especially when Joe is kind-hearted, unlike most other channels. There's just negativity in these people about how this channel interacts. And here's this other guy that I talked about previously. You've been sent these trials so that you can experience what Elvis felt, relating his actions and how he talks and behaves online, relating it to how Elvis felt, like to an emotional connection to how Elvis felt. Just totally ridiculous. Same guy again. Of course, Elvis felt about Priscilla as we all feel, but he handled it with class. Just totally negative. Let's just jump forward some more. What else? Because I will flick through, because otherwise,
Joe showed me just had a discussion with me. Me and Joe are all good. We've made up. We're friends again. I'm proud to say we've started chatting again. Of course, I fully support Joe Sins and his channel. I always have. I personally think that the argument with me and Joe, I overreacted. Honestly, I think I overreacted. I think I was so hurt by the fact that we'd fallen out. I just think I was so hurt by the fact that me and Joe had fallen out that it was like what's the word? Like when you have an argument with a good friend, you say things you don't mean. Have any of you been in that position?
So this is him really putting out his heart here. So this thing with Joe, what really got him with Joe is that Joe interviewed Billy Stanley, and Billy Stanley has totally rejected the little corporal, right? It doesn't want anything to do with him. And in fact, Billy Stanley made reference to him in Joe's interview, and he got offended that Joe didn't defend him to Billy. And that's where the sort of tone of it came out. And then he just went downhill, spiraled. And he made about 3 or 4, maybe even more videos with just losing control. I'm having my own insiders group. Everyone who is against me is out. And Joe, you're out. And he just did lots of that. Like, it was crazy to watch. And eventually it's all hit him. It's all hit him because he was getting. I mean, I've been watching these channels for some of these channels. I used to watch a lot of them. I used to watch Rhonda and Shauna, 2 girls about Elvis or something. I used to watch them a bit. So what's that? That's a good 3 or 4 years ago. And I've never seen the vitriol and the emails he gets, the hate emails, he gets so much, and it's down to him. It's his actions. It's his behavior online. Some people, they just absolutely despise it. I don't like it either. I don't like what he stands for, and I'm calling it out because I'm sick of it. But I have seen some of the stuff that he used to show, put on his Facebook group. That's not nice, and it's because of the way he acts online. He doesn't get it. His words that he uses they tear at people. They cut people, and when you cut people, they will do whatever. It's war. At the moment, Danny Smith has had an absolute gutful of this guy, and I've no doubt if he saw him in the street, he'd probably walk up and kick him in the nuts because he's just. It evokes emotion in you when you talked about people in a certain way. So here we go. Let's keep going with him.
Concerning the history of Elvis, without arguing with everyone, there is a way forward. Yeah. So really, Spy Guy's advice, Joe Sin's advice, has actually done me a favour and actually has done me some good. Yeah. And so I'm glad it happened because I do think that the arguments had become too regular. I do think the arguments have become too regular. I actually think it started to irritate people. I think after a while, it just becomes irritating. Yeah. People are tuning into my channel. They want to hear me defend Elvis.
I'm just reading this same guy again. None of them are trustworthy. You are not good with them. He will do this to you again. These are the comments that he's having to read while he's, pouring at his heart, trying to say, I stuffed up. I've been treating people poorly. I've been acting badly, and I need to do better on my channel. First thing I would have done is get rid of this guy if I was him.
With a group of defenders, with Elvis fans, they also want to hear me talk about Elvis, because don't forget, I am also an Elvis channel. I'm not just a defending channel. I've always been an Elvis channel that also defended. Yeah, and I've always said we defend with love, no hate. I have always said it. But my point is, in the end, the thing that was happening was that we were spending more time defending Louis, arguing with certain channels or certain people, than we were discussing Elvis.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So he woke up to that 3 months ago. But guess what? I would argue to you in the last 3 months, he's done more of the same than he's done previously. He can't help it.
Defending Elvis, doing Elvis topics, discussing Elvis history. Obviously, Elvis's history is there's much more to it than just Elvis. We've got Elvis, Lisa Marie, and all of the family and all of the friends, and there's a lot more to it. All the music and the movies and just the whole story of Elvis, going way back to the.
Notice here, he just said then, defending Elvis, defending Lisa, and friends and family. I bet you if you asked him the same question now, Donna would be top of the list. And to be honest with you, a lot of this latest drama and full on that he's into now has started with his over defending of Donna. Because he has to defend Donna, doesn't he? He's got all his eggs in that basket. And when I keep shoving in his face, what about this? What about that? What about this? Because there's so many things with her. I mean, I only saw something the other day, and I don't know if you guys see it. I won't name the channel because they don't like me naming them. But as late as 2013, Donna was having to fend off in court a guy, Wampler, Jesse Wampler, who owned a equipment place in Tennessee or Arkansas, somewhere near there, who had been lending money to Donna and Buddy for absolute quite a while. And we're not talking minor money. We're talking serious money, in the form of checks written to Donna, written to Buddy, all included as exhibits in the evidence. Now, I saw this on a channel just recently, a fella going through it all, someone going through all that. Now, that's, 10 years ago. So, leopards don't change their spots. Now, these were allegations, and I will say this, Buddy killed himself not long after this matter started to hit the courts. And I read Donna's response to the court. This is all public information. I read it, and he ended up the guy that did it end up having to drop the case. And in fact, he's dead now. So because he did it reserving his rights, so he can't go back now. And she denied ever receiving it, but yet there's all these exhibits of checks she's given. But I don't know how it all works, but these people don't seem to be locking Buddy and Donna down to contracts, and I don't know why you would give money the way that this guy did. Anyway, but that's another different matter. But I guess what I'm getting at here, there's just so much around Donna. If it's not strands of hair put in books, licensed by her, and then you got this other guy on another YouTube channel saying that no, it's the photo that she owned, not the hair sample, had nothing to do with her. Yet I've got emails from two people who went to signings back in the day and got the book, and Donna signed it, Donna Early, and it's got the hair sample inside it. But that's not enough, right? That's not enough. They want proof. We want proof. Must have proof. It's got to be court proof. Bloody hell. All right, keep going here.
Late 40s and up. So yeah, it's so what else? So basically, just so you know how we found the name. Yeah. So Joe was talking to me. He's probably asleep now anyway, but because it was the middle of the night. And so I've got a twin brother. My twin brother is an Elvis fan, same like me. He remembers Louis, 5 years old, with his collar turned up, sat at school at assembly, thinking he was Elvis, with his hair brill creamed back. Yeah. My brother understands that I literally feel that my life was saved by Elvis. Yeah. Now, some people go, why was your life saved by Elvis? I can tell you guys, I had a very extreme, abusive childhood. Yeah. Not sexual. Yeah. Just I had a very abusive childhood. Yeah. Elvis took me away from that.
Oh, so, I want to tread really lightly here because this isn't to be made fun of or criticized. And it probably goes some way to explaining why you get the extremes you do with him. On one hand, I look at that and I go, that's unfortunate. I feel sorry for you for that reason that, that happens to anyone. And it probably, there's something there as to why it's gone from, he obviously looked at Elvis as some sort of god at a very young age. What's he talking about? 5, he's talking about. Sitting in school with his hair brimmed back like Elvis, and can you imagine the abuse he probably got from other kids, and the mocking, and who knows? I don't know the story with his father too well, other than so this isn't the first time I've heard him say this, of course, but um, at least he says it wasn't sexual, but I assume it was physical, or it was and I'm going to suggest that perhaps it was emotional, because parents who speak badly, who talk badly, that goes down to children, right? They think that's the way to speak, because I think he speaks horribly at times to people, horribly. I've seen him so many times, and that the way he behaves is probably related to the way he was um, treated when he was younger. Let's keep going.
Elvis took me away from that. Okay, that's how he saved my life, and Elvis put me on the path for a good life. I've had a good life. Yeah, a lot of success. Obviously, through a lot of hard work as well. Me and my twin worked really hard. Yeah. But my point is, I owe Elvis. I really owe him. Like, honestly, guys, I can't even.
See, I think he thinks he's on the right path. He thinks that doing what he's doing is right. I mean, I don't know. What do you do with someone that thinks that they're right when they're absolutely not right? How can you? I mean, the answer he's got to realize, and I can't. It's hard to believe the people around him don't point him in the right direction, but it's hardly ever the right thing to do um, to judge other people the way he does. It's just never gonna. You're not the judge. You just don't have that right. And I don't think it's good karma. It's not good vibes. It's not good energy. It's horrible. And I'm just watching this same guy I'm talking about. I'm looking in the comments here, and they're just negative after negative. The best way forward is to highlight all the facts about Elvis that they don't know. He just keeps writing this stuff in here that's just he's having to ignore. He's even saying things he was not hurt when he said things to you. He's talking about Joe Sins. You know, you've got someone in there who's. I didn't realize how much this guy drives with his comments, certain behaviors.
Explain to you how much Elvis affected my life in every way, not just with my hair and how I dressed and how I acted and my personality and the way I am as a human, he also affected my confidence. It gave me the loving Elvis, trying to be like Elvis, gave me the confidence to have the guts, the courage to get into business. Me and my brother getting into business has given us successful lives, you know, homes, yeah, families, children, yeah. So I do feel a big debt to Elvis.
All right, we get it. Let's move on.
YouTube channel. We're not factual because we weren't there. It's opinion sharing, yeah, with no hate, with love, yeah. So believe it or not, I'm pleased. I'm actually glad that we hit a brick wall. Boom, we hit a brick wall. It's like, ow. It's funny because my son wrote off his car.
I'm going to move forward again.
Keep this family going. We are going to have to change. We are going to have to evolve. Yeah. In a positive way. We're going to have to. Otherwise, bye everyone. Get it? We all come together every day. We all love each other's company. But if we don't exist, then what? So we have to evolve together as a group, as Team Elvis, okay? As Elvis Defenders, but also as an Elvis channel, because we are also an Elvis channel. Even Donna Presley, we love her. She doesn't want to see me arguing with everyone. It doesn't appeal to her. Yes, we do have to sort of have our opinions. We do have to have our discussions. But even when Donna does her videos, she doesn't argue with people. She just, in a classy, respectful way, she says her point of view and moves on. We should just be a discussion YouTube channel where we are trying to get the truth out there in a kind way. Donna Presley wouldn't argue with people, would she? She would just say how she feels.
Anyway, I'm going to end it here because this just goes on and on and on. But ultimately, what I want to say is that something went wrong. This is only 3 months ago. He tried to make a start. He has apologized to everybody. But that never going to work when you continually make videos about those people. Now, what has really, where he's really lost it, in my opinion, why this all started, and I'm open for you people to say, you ladies and gentlemen, to say this, what you think yourselves, but when he found out in his group that there was a bunch of ladies who were talking in a chat and they broke away and they had certain thoughts around Donna, someone in that chat broke away and has told him what was being said. Now, this is all schoolyard crap, right? But, you know, I've been following this and I know some of you have as well. He lost it. He lost it. He blocked them. He got on his channel and he made a big deal of it, and he got emotive when he talked about it. He spoke about it, and then it just kept going. Then someone came out and there were some things that he saw, and then it slowly got momentum. That little movement that he, you know, the way he dealt with it, it caused them to want to fight back. And not that I don't even know what they did, but, you know, it all started to escalate, and he started to stick his neck in around Donna. And when he did that, well, it all went to shit because, you know, I started piping up, others started piping up, because we're sick of getting, I don't know about you guys, but I'm sick of getting Donna thrown down my neck. I know what I can read. I know what I've researched. I know what's out there. And unless she answers it, I am not going to change my opinion of Donna. Absolutely not. She has to confront this and put it out there and tell us, what is this about? If you want to be a credible person in the Elvis world, that's what you have to do. We have to be, you know, fellow Elvis fans had serious money taken. And, you know, there are reasons that she doesn't get invited to Graceland. There are reasons that she never saw Lisa. It's not just because you know, she decided to stay away. No, she knew that she had put a serious stain on the Presley name by her actions with Buddy. And I'm going to hazard a guess that that was well known in Elvis circles, as in, I know that Marty Lacker knew it, Patsy Presley knew it, Paddy knew it, Parry. Um, Patsy Presley knew it. I'd say Priscilla knew it. I think they all knew it. I reckon Linda probably knew it. And I reckon they all knew something was going on and what she had been involved in. So there's just too much. There's too much out there for us that we got to start asking questions and start saying, what's going on here? So, and he's had to go on the back foot for the last couple of months, continually defending Donna, while he himself is. And when you do that, he's put himself under the firing line. So, because his credibility's shot, because he told us all. He told us all how he checked it all. There's nothing to see here. Checked it all. No, it's all lies, and started going on and on about it's forum-based gossip, and, when it's clearly not. It's articles that were taken from a website. And not only that, it's fan groups and fans, Elvis fans, who have stating back in 2004 what their experience was, and then discrediting. What about discrediting Edie Hand? And it comes out and says that Edie never met Elvis. I mean, how stupid is he? So where's he getting fed all the information from? It's coming from Donna, but it's incorrect. So, Donna knows full well that Edie is second cousin. She knows full well, but she refers to her as a distant relative to try and gain the upper hand. And that's what this is, one-upmanship, first cousin of Elvis. She's the last of her family. Mum and dad's gone, the kids are gone, the siblings are gone. She's the last one. And she changes her name to Pritchett. I'd ask the question, changes her name to Presley. I'd ask the question, is she the last Pritchett? She's the last Pritchett of her family. Does she care about that? And yet she wants to take on a name that she never had on her birth certificate. And some of you might be listening to this going, well, I'm harping on about it, but I think it's that bad. I honestly do. If I was Earl Pritchett, I'd be upset about it. This guy worked honourably at Graceland for years. Look, he had Donna, and I don't know if Buddy stayed there as well, but certainly Donna. He had Donna at his trailer for 6 months of the year in a lovely position. I'm sure he didn't pay rent. And it would be they're all family, but and they're family of Elvis. And Elvis, obviously, the sort of guy he was, they can come stay on the grounds. But that's a privileged position to be in. You're very fortunate. And I'm sure Earl and Nash both felt that with Elvis. And I think they probably did have a great relationship with him, Earl and Nash. And I'm sure Elvis respected them. I'm sure he respected his Aunt Nash. We know the things he gave her, the church he built. Earl was a grounds maintenance keeper of the grounds for a long time. I think he worked as security as well, but I could be wrong. I think I might have mentioned that in a video and I might have been wrong about that. But anyway. But Donna, okay, she was there 6 months of the year. She says, I don't know, during the summer. Hey, I take that to be true. Danny has come out and said, yeah, she was there. He saw her there. She used to stay at the trailer. But all of them have said she wasn't there all the time. But yet Donna's prepared to say that Edie never babysat Lisa. Well, how does Donna know that? Donna wasn't there all the time, by her own admission. She wasn't around Elvis. Elvis was 15 years older than her. She didn't go and do all the things Elvis liked to do. Elvis lived at night. He was awake at night. He slept during the day. What do you reckon Donna was doing when she was there? You reckon she was doing that life? I don't think so. She was living with a pastor mum and a grounds maintenance guy who was working during the day. I don't think she was staying up all night in her trailer. I think she was sleeping like anyone else would be doing. So, you know, the whole thing smells. It's got a bad smell around it. All right, I think I'm gonna finish this video because I think it's said enough. Thank you for listening. It's only 45 minutes. I'm loving all the comments that you're making. They're very much appreciated. I really look forward to a time, very near future, where I don't want to be talking about the little corporal and I don't want to be talking about Donna because I find them both unimportant. But there are other things that I'm really interested to talk to you about, to see what you think. Things that I'm interested in, that what happened with Elvis and particular events, and some things that haven't been addressed in a lot of detail in the past. And I want to find a way to present that information to you, that we can, that we can talk about, because I got some different opinions. I'm not going to get along with everyone. All right, guys, have a good night. Talk soon.